Good morning, everyone. Okay, we're just about to get ready to get started. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we start. The restrooms are in the front of the house. You pass them on your way in. There are also masks available at the front of the house if you would like one, as well as the Wi-Fi password. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask me or anyone with a Planting Fields staff name tag and lanyard. We'd be happy to help you. Please just use the single back door if you do need to leave. We are recording this event, all of our speakers. And we're ready to begin. So please join me in welcoming our Planting Fields Foundation President and CEO, Gina J. Wouters.
Good morning. Thank you, Emily. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. How exciting to begin this first full day of the Olmsted Symposium here at Planting Fields. I hope most of you were able to join us last evening at La Selva and to hear John Dixon Hunt's talk on the making of place. Thank you again, John, for that wonderful talk. So before the Olmsteds, before the Coes, before the Burns, before them, and before the Townsends, there were the Matinecock, and they were the indigenous people of this region. The name Planting Fields comes from the name the Matinecock gave to this very land, recognizing it for its fertility and easy cultivation. The earliest record we've been able to find of the name is a deed from 1686 showing the transfer of land from one English colonist to another, where the land is referred to as planting fields so called twice. A long tradition of agriculture has existed on Long Island and certainly on the North Shore, and this has also played a big role in the co-planting fields. But this also creates a lot of confusion about what exactly planting fields is, and often the literal understanding of that name is what dominates. So much so that many people often say the planting fields. So categorizing and understanding planting fields has been an ongoing discussion. In a 1993 master plan, this was stated: planting fields has long been confronted with an identity problem. This confusion stems from its years of moving between and encompassing academic, park, arboretum, and historic interpretive uses, not to mention, of course, the historic era of the Coes. The estate was one of 5 homes of the Coe family, which they purchased in 1913. Other residences included 200,000 acres in Wyoming, a plantation in South Carolina, a house in Palm Beach, and various apartments and townhouses in New York City. I won't get too much into the history because Witold will be doing that much more articulately in a few minutes. But I will fast forward to W.R. Coe's death in 1955, at which time Planting Fields was gifted to the state of New York. A few years before that, in 1952, Planting Fields Foundation was established. From 1955 to the early 70s, the entire site was a temporary SUNY campus, and this building included dorms and mess halls. Once the Stony Brook campus was complete, this site needed new purpose, and so Planting Fields entered the New York State Park system as an arboretum, through the orchestration of Robert Moses. So for the past 50 years or so, it's been operated as an arboretum, and in the 1990s, Coe Hall, this building, was dubbed a house museum. In essence, the site was bifurcated and operated as 2 distinct concepts and spaces. But recent strategic efforts of Planting Fields Foundation have focused on a conceptual reunification of these 2 parts of the site to return to the intent of Planting Fields as an integrated composition. We have been on a journey, as I shared yesterday, since our long-awaited CLR came together in late 2019. Thank you, Patricia. We're working to recenter this Olmsted intent for the site because we recognize that it is, among the many assets of Planting Fields, a defining factor that really can allow us to maximize our impact. I hope you enjoy your time here during these next days. Olmsted 200 has allowed us to catalyze our efforts, but this work will be going on here well beyond this year. At this time, I'd like to thank Dee Dee Petrie and her team at the National Association of Olmsted Parks, Anthony Reed and Brianne Cassetta from the Frederick Law Olmsted National Historic Site in Brookline, and Charles Birnbaum of the Cultural Landscape Foundation for their guidance and their support with the development of this convening. Thank you as well to the reviewers for the call for papers in 2021, Anthony Reed, Arlene Levy, Dee Dee Petrie, and Beverly Kazikas. As I mentioned yesterday, none of this would be possible without Catherine Curran of the Gardner Foundation. So we owe you applause and thanks. It's pretty extraordinary what she's done for us, but we were awarded an unprecedented 4 gifts for all of our Olmsted 200 programming, including this symposium, an exhibition on female photographers that's on view upstairs that you'll be able to see tomorrow and later today, the partnership with the Cultural Landscape Foundation that's creating access to 15 different Olmsted sites on Long Island, and finally, a major publication on the site. So thank you again, Catherine. And of course, to our stellar Board of Trustees, there's a couple of you here, Cece Haydock, Jeff Moore, Mary McDonald, I say Stephen Waters. Thank you all so much for everything you do for Planting Fields every single day. And to the Planting Fields Foundation team, Emily Legger, Lily McGurk, Tony Barnes. Everybody's been commenting on so far so good, and it's been a very seamless production. It's all because of this team here, so thank you all. Many people in this room have dedicated their lives to studying and creating designed landscapes. But of course, there are the silent protagonists that are at the root of these places we all enjoy and find so much value in. They are the gardeners, the curators, the technicians, and we have a few of them here today who've been eagerly anticipating this event so they can learn and apply new knowledge to their daily rhythms. I'd really like to recognize Tracy Wilson, Parks Garden Curator, and Frank Kirby. Please stand. So Frank is a volunteer and he works closely with Tracy, and they are unstoppable. They're around these gardens all the time. And in 2021 alone, Frank clocked in 1,800 hours of volunteer time at Planting Fields. So I just wanted to recognize you and thank you for your dedication. So let's get started with our first presentation of the day. I'm pleased to introduce Witold Rybczynski, Professor Emeritus of Urbanism at the University of Pennsylvania and author of books such as Clearing in the Distance. His presentation is titled A Country Place, The House and Gardens of Planting Fields, 1904 to 1930. Welcome, Witold.